Welcome to the de Havilland Aircraft Museum. This exhibit we've got here is extremely rare. It is an underwing drop tank from a Mosquito. It's got 50-gallon capacity, and as you can see by looking closely, it's actually made out of wood, just like the Mosquito itself. These tanks were carried under wing, and once the fuel was used up, they were discarded. So there's very few of these actually available anywhere in the world, and we're really proud of the fact that we have one here to display. Many people know that the Mosquito is an extremely versatile aircraft. It was made even more versatile within the first year of production by a change in the design. They introduced what was known as the universal wing. The introduction of that universal wing not only gave additional strength, but also meant that whether you were dealing with a bomber, fighter bomber, or photo reconnaissance, you'd got the ability to carry different stores as you needed. So this universal wing meant that the Mosquito could carry many types of underwing stores: 500-pound bombs, 60-pound rockets, or fuel tanks like this. And they could be either 50, 100, even 200 gallons. So this got us thinking, what if you had a 100-gallon fuel tank? If a gallon of water weighs 10 pounds, a 100-gallon fuel tank filled with water would be about 1,000 pounds. Aviation fuel is not quite like that, of course, so about 100 gallons worth of aviation fuel probably weighs about 700 pounds. Definitely more than the 500-pound bomb with its carrier that you would have had otherwise. And if you had a 200-gallon fuel tank, that's going to be 2/3 of a ton under each wing. So the introduction of this universal wing made a massive increase to the carrying capacity of this aircraft, far more than was available on the original prototype that you can see at the museum. One of the exhibits we've also got here is a couple of restored drop tank mechanisms. This is the actual mechanism which was operated by an electric solenoid that enabled the tanks to be jettisoned once the fuel had all been used up. And that's another reason why those drop tanks are so rare. They simply fell away to the ground and were lost. What we discovered when we were restoring these drop tanks is there were actually different types that were made, and we were able to reconstruct each one. So if you'd like to find out a bit more about this, do check out our other video on this channel where we did a talk about the fuel in the Mosquito prototype. Also, make sure that you like this video and share it on social media. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can watch other videos in this channel which the algorithm will feed to you. The very large 200-gallon drop tanks were mainly used by Mosquitoes in the Far East, where distances were so critical. In 1944, in fact, de Havilland introduced the PR-34 version of the Mosquito. As well as having drop tanks, that also enlarged the bomb bay and turned that into a huge fuel tank as well. The net result is, for the PR-34, you've got 1,200 gallons of fuel, and that gave you a range of 3,300 miles. So the ability to travel those sort of distances at high speed, to take photographs and return safely to base, was a vital resource to help the Allies as they began to fight back against the Japanese advances in Southeast Asia. 684 Squadron, for example, they were based in eastern India, and they used to take photographs of the Malay Peninsula and also the Andaman Islands. In early 1944, 684 Squadron were using Mosquitoes flying to Bangkok and the Gulf of Siam. The purpose of these flights was to look at the infamous Burma Railway, which had been constructed using slave labour and POWs. What the RAF wanted to do was to track progress in interdicting this critical pinch point in order to help the British with the counterattacks against Japanese forces. By August 1944, flight times of 8 hours and 45 minutes were being recorded, and the squadron began receiving these new PR-34s with improved performance and an improved altitude. To get some idea of what the PR-34 could do, in June 1945 they received a Mosquito which had flown all the way from the UK to Karachi. That was a 3,900 mile flight which took 12¾ hours. With the end of the war, PR Mosquitoes had another role. They were used to help identify critical locations and likely POW camps all the way over Southeast Asia. The story of the Mosquito in the Far East, and particularly its PR contribution, is often overlooked. But it is a tribute to the strength, the versatility, the adaptability of the Mosquito, that they played such a vital part in that long-distance war effort. As a postscript, imagine that you were a pilot on a multi-hour flight. There may be a few practical problems. Perhaps you're going to need to make use of the lavatory facilities at some time. And so we do have an exhibit at the museum that can help address that particular problem. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you get the opportunity to check out our website and our opening times. Come and visit us down in London Colney. See you at the museum.